Hello and welcome to Marion's Game Room. I'm Marion as always, and boy, these holiday season videos are always kind of hard for me. I've got a really special game that I really want to do next week for Thanksgiving, but I don't think I'll have the time. I normally film these on Monday when I'm off work, and I have to work next Monday since I'm obviously off next, Thursday for Thanksgiving. So I might have to do it the week after, but hey, that's all in the future. Let's get to this week's video. And this is another big favorite of mine from recently. I don't know why this year in particular I seem to have really been clinging on to a lot of cooperative games. But let's talk about this week's video, which is a game called Hanabi. Now, Hanabi is a cooperative game for 2 to 5 players. And what I have here you can see is called the Deluxe 2 edition of Hanabi. The real quick on this is basically, standard Hanabi is actually a really cheap, just card game. Really simple to carry around and all that. But Hanabi Deluxe changes the cards out for these really pretty Mahjong style tiles, which I love, of course. I love a good, nice deluxe version of a game. And Deluxe 2, the only difference between 1 and 2 is, well, I don't think you could even find 1 anywhere except for secondhand anymore. 1 is just the standard Hanabi game with tiles. Instead, Deluxe 2 simply adds in the Master Artisan expansion into the game, which just gives you some new tiles to mess around with. We may or may not go into those. But yeah, this is a cooperative game where you are all playing a bunch of guys who are trying to set off a fireworks display show, but unfortunately the powders kind of got mixed around, so you were trying your best to scramble in time before the before the show goes off to get all of your colors and fireworks organized for a big, beautiful display show. Yeah, so let's go to the table and talk about it. One thing I'm immediately sad about is I actually bought this cool, big, beautiful Mahjong mat specifically to play this game with. One issue that I saw when buying this game is that apparently some people did notice there was a bit of an issue with the images on the tiles getting scratched off from shuffling. If you're not familiar with dominoes or Mahjong, the way you have to shuffle these things is kind of just by rubbing them around in a pile. So apparently that can cause these images to get scratched off. So I went and bought like a nice Mahjong mat to play this game with, and I forgot it at my dad's house last time I went there, so I don't have it today. So we're just going to use my good old Blinks Astro mat for today for these. You don't have to have one. Again, I just spent a good, good $60 on this game, and I didn't want to get ugly with all those getting scratched up, so I got my mat. You don't have to have one or anything. It's not a necessity, but I wanted to. For setup, you're going to want to dump all the tiles out. Make sure they are all with the little gate side up here, and just give them a good mix, a good shuffle. Wash those tiles. Then you'll want to get these chips here that have these fuses and this bang on them. You'll want to get them in a stack, set them off somewhere nearby on the side, and all of these clock tiles, you'll want to take them and line them up somewhere nearby off to the side as well. And then, depending on player count, you will have everybody draw a few tiles from the center here. Now, when you draw tiles from the center, to be clear, you'll also want to kind of keep these a little off to the side somewhere, best you can, because you will need space in the center of the table to play the game as well as draw your tiles. Whoops, back over there. Everyone's going to draw 4 tiles, and when you draw them, you need to make sure you do not ever see what's on the bottom side of it. You need to draw 4 tiles and keep the gate side looking at you so that every other player can see what's on the other side of your tiles, but you can't. So, like the player across from me would take theirs. So you can easily see how from where I'm sitting, I cannot see my own tiles, but I can see my other players' tiles, and that'll be for everyone at the table. I actually lied. I'm going to do a 3-player game instead of a 4-player game, 4 or 5-player game. The only thing that's going to change for that example is just that everyone will have 5 tiles in their hand instead of 4. That's it. Otherwise, the game's totally the same, regardless of player count. Anyway, this game is overall, what you're doing in your turn is simply you're just assigned between one of 3 possible actions. On your turn, you either give 1 piece of information to another player at the table, discard a tile from your hand, or play a tile. That's it. Those are your three choices on your turn. When giving another player a piece of information, what that means is you will pick one player at the table and you will tell them either a color or a number. And then you will tell them how many tiles in their hand pertain to that bit of information. So I might tell the player to my left over here, I might say, you have 3 ones. Because you can see they have this yellow one here, this yellow one here, and then that red one there. Yes, you are allowed to literally point at the tiles. So I wouldn't just say in general, hey, you have 3 ones. No, I would point and say you have 3 ones. So they don't know what color any of those are, but they do know that all 3 of those tiles are ones. Another bit of information I could give to these players would be telling them that they have 3 yellows. So I could say you have 3 yellows because all 3 of these are yellow. That's how you give information in this game. The thing is, every time you give someone a piece of information, then that takes time. So every time you give information, you have to flip one of these little clock things over. If all of the clock pieces get flipped over, you cannot give information. You don't have time to. So that means you'll only have the option of discarding a tile or playing a tile, which we can go into now. Now, discarding a tile is super simple. It's simply, I'm going to take one of the tiles from my hand and discard it away. You'll find some sort of area in the center-ish of the table that you're okay to not use, and you'll just sort of set it off to the side over here or something, face up. This is now my discard area. Every time you discard away a tile, you do get to take one of the face down clocks and flip them back face up. I haven't gone over the goal of the game yet, which is my bad. The whole point of the game is you are trying to play out in sequential order 1 through 5 of every color of fireworks. So the overall perfect goal of the game would be if we successfully played out a yellow 1, then a yellow 2, a yellow 3, a yellow 4, a yellow 5, and also do that with every other color as well. So a yellow 1, a red 1, a green 1, and so on. There are 5 different colors in the base game: yellow, red, green, blue, and white. You have to play them out in sequential order. If by accident someone ends up playing out a tile that is not allowed to be played yet, or has already been played, then that is where this comes into play. Anytime someone does that, one of these fuse goes away. If you make 3 mistakes, that's it. You lose the game, or I shouldn't say lose the game. It's simply the game is over. It's not so much a win or lose state. It is simply you go until the game ends, and then you compare how well you did to a little chart here that, you know, says if you did good or if you did bad. So anytime you make a mistake, you remove one of these little fuses, and that could end the game. Otherwise, let's keep going. Stupid me hasn't really gone over the third option of playing a tile yet, but I think you kind of get what playing a tile is from all my examples I've been throwing out here. The only thing I haven't mentioned properly is whenever you play a tile or discard a tile, anytime a tile leaves your hand, I probably should have finished that in discard as well. When you discard away a tile, you simply draw another one from the pile. Again, when you draw another one, make sure you don't look at it. Make sure it just goes back into your hand. Again, facing all the other players. But yeah, so if you play a tile, you simply take a tile from your hand, play it to the center table. If it's a legal play, it stays, and then you grab a new tile. Gotta get those out of there. Sorry, the rainbow ones are part of the expansion, which I might go over later. And that is pretty much all the basics of the game right there. Again, you're either giving people information, discarding away tiles, or telling people, or playing down tiles. And playing tiles, again, what you're trying to do is you're trying to play in order to the table here, 1 through 5 of all 5 colors. Now, there are a limited number of each type of tile in the game. There are 3 1s, 2 2s, 2 3s, 2 4s, and only 1 5. So you do have to be careful as things are discarded, because if you end up discarding away too many of the same tile, you might end up actually stopping yourself from being able to complete full sets. If I were to accidentally discard away this red 5 I'm holding, then it would make it to where we instantly could not complete the reds. But also, like if we already discarded away a red 3 earlier. If we end up accidentally discarding away the other red 3 before we play it, then again, reds would be entirely cut off after 3. So the 4 and 5 would be useless to us at that point because we can only play the 1 and 2. There's no 3s left. So it is a very tricky game. As much as it's a very simple game technically to what you can do on your turn, it's a very difficult game to actually balance the limited amount of time you have if telling people what they have in their hand with playing stuff out and discarding stuff away as well. Well, that's the basics. There is technically a couple more things to it. Even with the base game, if you successfully do build out a full set of 5, let's go ahead and get that set up. So I've kind of set up a bit of what your game might look like a good ways through. We've got yellow almost done here, green a couple in, white and red just barely started, and blue's about halfway. If you end up playing the final 5th one, so we've completed yellow now. We have 1 through 5 in yellow. If you play the final one, what you get to do is you get to immediately turn one of your clocks back over. Yay, at least a little bit more time. That actually is everything for the basic game now. And hey, I feel like I might as well real quick go over the little expansion that is included with the Deluxe 2 edition in case you decide if you want it or not. One thing it adds is it adds these rainbow tiles. This is simply a 6 suit that you can add to the game for harder games. Sorry, I'm messing these up over here. The other thing it adds are these little white tiles here. And these sort of take place of that basic action in the main game where whenever you play the final 5 out of any set, you get to flip over one of those. Instead, you would shuffle these guys up and have them face down somewhere off to the side. And whenever someone plays down that 5th tile, you would pick one of these to flip over, and these have various different abilities on them. Now, this one actually I think is just literally the basic ability of flipping one of those back over. But there are other ones like, let's see. There are other ones like getting to flip over some of your fuses to flip over some of your clocks. So if I wanted to, if we hadn't made any mistakes so far, I could intentionally flip 2 of my fuses over, and that would let me flip 2 clocks back over. Hey, if we're not making mistakes, that's a good way to get some time back. There's also the ability to pull some tiles back out of your discard pile. That's a really useful one. We've actually had to use that one a lot. And there's one more, which is you get to choose another player and tell them the color and value of a single tile in their hand. So that is the one time, if you end up flipping over this one, that I could directly tell somebody, hey, you're holding the blue 4. That's the only time I can do that is with that. And that's everything you need to know about the main game and about the little extra expansion that comes in Hanabi Deluxe 2. And again, if you just want the standard Hanabi game, it's all the same stuff you saw, but instead of these pretty little Mahjong tiles, it is going to be a hand of cards you are holding instead. So I guess let's go back up to the board. Like I said earlier, this has been one of my favorite games this year, so spoiler alert for what's probably going to get rated at the end of all this. It's one of those games where the technical what you were doing is simple. It's just trying to give players information or playing tiles out. But the finding the right balance of when's the most important to do each thing is super difficult, which I actually love. It's I honestly, I kind of don't usually like when cooperative games get a little too difficult and all that. My personal favorite for most cooperative stuff we play is when it kind of feels like you win by the skin of your teeth. I love a game to be challenging, but I still want to win by the end. But with this one, again, there's not really ever a losing. You can do bad at the game, but if I get a game where we get 18 to 20 out, I feel good still. We did really well. I'm always going to be a little like, dang it. And there certainly are always those moments while you're playing where a bad move inevitably happens. And that is what's super fun about this. It can be a very difficult game. I think it's a great game. I personally love the tiles over the cards. I've heard a lot of people who have the cards, they end up playing it so much, the cards end up getting faded or damaged and all, which is a good thing. Also, I believe it's such a cheap game, since it is just a little box, a tiny box of cards in it, that if you did end up playing it that much, and there's it, I think you're justified just buying another version of the game. But I love big, chunky, deluxe stuff, so I paid too much for the beautiful Hanabi Deluxe 2. I don't see any reason why you'd ever try and find the out-of-print Deluxe 1 just get deluxe too. It's got the extra stuff in it. I do like the little artisan expansion, and I do like the extra rainbow tiles. We pretty much keep them mixed in for simplicity's sake, honestly. It'd be more annoying to have to keep them separated all the time. So the first couple times we played, we didn't use them, but once we started using them, we pretty much always use the 6 tiles now. And the 6 suit, the rainbow style now. And we pretty much always use the little Master Artisan expansion as well, because the always getting to flip one over is great, but I think a lot of the extra actions in there make it even better. Getting to pull stuff out of the discard pile again has been super helpful for us. But yeah, I mean, clearly, I'm a big fan of this game. I think you've probably have a good idea at this point whether or not you would like this game. Yeah, I'm rambling on for too long here. Clearly, I love this game.
What? Aaron rambled on for way too long about a game he likes? Hey, welcome to Parents Gaming. Glad you could join us. Clearly, Hanabi, all versions, Baron approved.